HollyShorts Film Festival. I am one of your hosts here on this side of the couch, Indiana Underhill, co-founder of CFA and a cinematographer, and we have an actor on this side, Haley Royal, who's also the co-founder of CFA. Sitting with me today are two very talented filmmakers from Ride Baby Ride. That is Sofie Somoroff. Yeah, did I nail it?
You got
it. Did we get it? Writer, director, and producer. And we have Celina Bernstein. Did I get that one?
Yeah.
Great. Actor and producer. Very, very cool that we have that hyphenate, actor, producer.
Yeah.
Love that.
Is that not one you see very often?
We haven't seen it a lot. We've seen like a writer, actor, producer, writer, director, but never someone who was like, oh, I want to help make this.
Yeah.
And also be in it, but it's not something you wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Sofie and I have collaborated a lot over the years, and I've always, I think, had kind of an unofficial creative producer role in the sense that I always would watch cuts and give notes and read the script.
Gets a lot of late night phone calls.
Oh yeah.
I bet. Yeah.
But this was my first time also taking on the kind of logistical, more practical side of producing as well for one of our projects.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, before we dive into all of this stuff, what is Ride Baby Ride about?
It is about a young mechanic, played by Celina, who is buying a 1978 Camaro from some super skeevy car guys. And yeah, once she's hard at work fixing it up, she has to fight a lecherous demon living inside of it.
Yes.
Wow.
This sounds really fun.
This is one thing after another. This car will not let you just drive it.
No.
No, there's definitely no driving.
Wow. And so so you've teamed up together before, you've worked together. The decision to come on as a producer was just because you're like, I think it's time, like I just love doing this, or was it more like, let's work together in a new capacity?
So
officially,
I think it came about primarily, I think the official nature of it happened because I did another film with a close friend of ours that I also produced and acted in. And that one, it was really by necessity, just of the scale of the project. We didn't have the ability to bring on a more experienced producer. So I was just like, okay, let me figure out all these things like production insurance and other things like that.
Yeah, of course.
And then Sofie came to me once she wrote the script for Ride Baby Ride and officially asked me to produce. And I think it just, there was no reason for me not to, because I'd had such a good experience doing it already. And because I was already kind of doing the creative part of producing previously, it felt just like a natural progression of our relationship.
Absolutely. And Sofie, for you, what are the things that you look for in the producers for your projects?
It's a great question. I think for me, I really just want to have partners who I love being around. And Celina and I are very old, close friends, and this is our 5th film together. Wow. The 4th that Celina's starred in, but
that's so cool, by the way.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
What Celina didn't mention is she's like super talented across like all facets of production. We became friends because we were doing costumes together, and in my first film, Celina production designed and costume designed it, and like built all the sets and created all the costumes. So like it's
the
super
world building,
at all aspects of filmmaking. And it just made sense, like, on our last, I just will always call Celina for creative advice, and always, like, is one of the first people, if not the first person I would share a script with. And it just made sense to be like, we are going to build this production together and create it together. And then we had another amazing producer named Sam Fox, who is an amazingly talented filmmaker in her own right, and I met her on the festival circuit last year, and we just like got along while stranded in an airport in Ohio because Spirit Airlines was
was
shout out.
No, you're fine.
Bringing people together.
They could do better.
Surrounding them.
Exactly. So it was just like we found that we have this creative alignment while also, I think, bringing kind of different perspectives to the table, and it just was a really, really nice process to go through it all together.
Let's talk about physical production. So, practical locations, is that the kind of locations you were working on, or did you build a lot of them out?
Go ahead.
We shot entirely on a location called the Tranquility Canyon Ranch.
They're amazing.
They are so good, and you may have actually seen them they're featured in a lot of photo shoots because the floor of the location is this incredible checkered black and white floor, and it's just so visually striking that it felt like the perfect backdrop to kind of this heightened story. And the other big key location challenge was the car, because the car is such a character in this movie. Finding the right one was essential to telling this story, and we
did.
Yeah.
We found a crazy, amazing 1978 Camaro, and
with holes in the floor and
Wow.
everything.
it's like fully rusted
Everything
through
you
the
need.
bottom, like, you know,
Yeah.
windows that you like have to like lift up and down, window cranks that fall off. And so we did a previs of the car, and, you know, really I then rewrote the script after we did that, just to like figure out what all the beats were once we actually knew what the car was that we were dealing with. But
Got
that was
it.
a huge part of it.
And the 1978 Camaro obviously is a character. You also talk about anthropomorphizing an inanimate object, which is the demon.
Yeah.
From an actor standpoint, what was it like to work with an inanimate object as a scene partner?
A little bit painful. I did get bruised all over my body.
What was it made out of?
Why did you end up with injury?
Well, once you're tied up by the seat belts, can't really move. That
It happens.
God.
yeah.
nothing serious, luckily.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting because we did a lot of the effects practically, so I really did feel like I was interacting with the car. For example, there's a beat where the seat belt gets wrapped around my arm and like pulls it in a direction, and we tried a bunch of different methods in order to get that, but the one that ended up working best was literally someone taking the seat belt and lassoing it around my hand and pulling it, and so it really did feel very tangible, everything that we were doing with the car, and I think that made the interaction with it feel very natural.
Yeah. Wow. That's so fun.
Yeah, you can maybe actually convince yourself that this car is terrifying.
Yes,
if
yeah.
it's actually happening.
Luckily, didn't come and attack me afterwards.
Didn't come
But
get you. Did you have any residual dreams though?
no, I didn't actually. But maybe I will tonight.
Now that
Bringing it all up.
Yeah.
To relive it.
Yeah.
It screened last night, so I think it's very much
Very
we're
recent.
reliving it.
Yeah. And Sofie, we love to ask kind of like some practical questions as well. When you're on set and you call cut, who's the first person you go to? Is it crew side on like DP or production design to make sure they're happy with it, they look good, or is it talent?
I think the first person I would always go to would be Celina. And I mean, you know, obviously some takes it's like if there's a technical thing to address right away, like, you know, we worked with an amazing DP, Gemma Dahl-Grossman, like she
Who went to AFI with me?
Oh my
was the
God,
year
goodness.
above me.
Amazing,
And
yeah.
is an incredible.
she's incredible.
Yeah.
But so I mean, there were definitely times where I would go to her first, but I think part of just with Celina being, you know, lead producer on it with
Yeah.
me, it was like I just, you know, always wanted to make sure that as we were going through it and when we were going through it fast, that, you know, we were both feeling really, really good about every step of that process.
Wow.
And, you know, because Celina's like such an amazing creative voice to have in the room, you know, I would be like, okay, this is sort of how it felt, or this is what playback was like, how, you know, how do we feel about it?
Yeah.
You know.
What is the biggest piece of advice that you would have, Celina, for actors wanting to produce and vice versa?
I think so. I came at it from very much an actor's first perspective, and for a long time I do some writing as well, not on this project but just independently. For a long time I think I was incredibly resistant to the idea of like doing your own work. Everyone's always like, oh, you got to do your own work as an actor, and I was like, I don't want to write, I don't want to do all of that. And I feel like I just kind of woke up one day and I was like, okay, I guess I'll do it. And
As well.
and I think that it's just about realizing that it's not a limiting factor. You're not being told that you need to produce your own work because people don't want to see you succeed in other ways as an actor. People are telling you that because it actually gives you the opportunity to take on roles and projects that you are actually creatively invested in and care about. And I think it's actually an incredible opportunity that actors are able to do that now and take back some of that agency.
It's fantastic.
Celina Bernstein says go for it.
Do it.
Awesome. Well, we have to wrap things up, unfortunately. However, Ride Baby Ride can be seen on bitpixtv.com. It did screen last night, so you missed it at the physical festival, but that doesn't mean you can't catch it on the virtual fest. Thank you so much for joining us, and we can't wait to have you back on next time.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks
Thanks
for having
everyone.
us.
Bye. This has been another episode of the Cinematography for Actors podcast. Follow us on wherever you listen to your podcast to keep up to date on new episode releases. We will be live through August 20th here at HollyShorts Film Fest. If you're here, drop in and say a little hello at the VIP lounge. We also want to thank our sponsors, Apogee, Film Tools, Roscoe, Lightstone Rentals, Canon, and First Mile Tech. As a special gift to you listeners, we've partnered with We Make Movies to get you a discount on comprehensive production insurance packages. Use code CFA23 on your intake form for 10% off your quote by visiting wemakemovies.org/insurance.
If you missed any of our live streams, you can watch all of our interviews on our YouTube channel, Cinematography for Actors. And make sure you follow us on Instagram at Cinematography for Actors. You can also catch us in a more formal setting on Monday, August 14th at Japan House for a panel discussion on the importance of bridging the gap between talent and crew. You can get 20% off of your ticket purchase by using the code HSFF2023CFA at checkout.
Thanks!